Hello everyone, Ranjitha here, and I am back with another interesting tutorial. Today I am going to show you how you can use transferred sheets on paper and also make a beautiful monogram using gilding flakes along with transferred sheets. So let's get started. Firstly, I am starting with this watercolor paper. This measures 9 inches by 9 inches. It is very important that you start with a good quality watercolor paper. Here I am using Craft Angles watercolor paper, and I will also be using this beautiful set of ballerina transferred elements from Craft Angles as well. So first what I am doing is I am planning my design. For that I am roughly drawing the letter A. This is because I wanted to make a beautiful monogram for a little girl named Alaknanda. Well, this is my little daughter and she loves to do ballet. So I thought this would be a perfect gift for her, a beautiful monogram for her room. So as you can see here, first I am starting with roughly sketching the monogram by writing down the letter A here. Then I am roughly writing the word Alaknanda here. You do not have to be precise. I am just planning my work here. I am using a pencil and a very light hand here. As you can see here, first I have roughly written the word Alaknanda here. And now I wanted to add some beautiful flourishes to add more interest to this word. So I am planning my flourishes such that I have equal flourishes on the top of the word and on the bottom of the word, and I'm also balancing the left and the right. I'm showing you very simple lettering options here. However, in case if you're not confident with your hand lettering, you can always take a print of a beautiful font and then trace it over onto your watercolor sheet here. So once I'm happy with my design, I'm just roughly erasing these lines because I didn't want to have harsh pencil lines. Especially since I am planning to do watercoloring, I didn't want my pencil lines to be trapped under my watercolor. So I'm just roughly erasing them. Now, as you can see here, this is a beautiful ballerina sheet. These are a set of images and they can be easily transferred onto any surface. The best part of Craft Angles transferred sheets is that you have clear instructions behind every sheet. Not just that, you also have a QR code. Once you scan this QR code, you will get detailed video instructions for using these sheets as well. So now I fussy cut a little ballerina who's been sitting and leaning onto one side. I thought it'll be very beautiful if I can have this ballerina leaning onto my A. So make sure you fussy cut the element as close as possible to the image. I have a bowl of clean water here, and now what I am doing is there is a clear film on this sheet. Make sure that you don't smudge your fingers onto the image. Carefully peel off this clear sheet here. Once I have removed the clear film, I am carefully placing it upside down on my watercolor paper. Be very careful while placing this image because there is no removing it and placing it back. Once you place it, it is done. So be very careful with your alignment. Now I am dipping a clean sponge into the water and I'm just dabbing it on the image. This is the reason I insisted that you use a good quality watercolor paper. If you use regular cardstock or any other paper, it will not be able to take so much water and you will start ruining your project. So this is a very basic necessity. So you need to use good quality watercolor paper. So as you can see here, once I've soaked my image with water, the layer clearly peels off and you have a beautiful image transferred onto your paper. Now I am again taking a little butterfly just to balance the design. I wanted a little butterfly on top of the word Alaknanda here, and I'm again placing it upside down here. This time I have little hands to help me. My 5-year-old daughter has now got onto my craft table and she's now trying to transfer the image. So as you can see here, this is so easy. When a 5-year-old can do it, I'm sure you can also do it. Now I'm going to apply the gilding glue or leafing size on the places I wish to have my gilding leaf or gilding flakes here. In this case, I'm applying it all over the letter A that I have previously traced. Leafing size or gilding glue is specially formulated water-based liquid that you brush onto your surface specifically for metal leaf. All you have to do is apply onto the surface and leave it for 20 to 30 minutes. Although it kind of looks like regular white glue, it's different because once it dries, it stays sticky for about 48 hours, and that is what the leaf would stick to. Make sure you apply your gilding glue exactly where you want your leaf to stick to. Take extreme care not to have spillovers or excess glue in unwanted areas, because your gilding leaf or flakes would stick wherever you have this glue. Now that I am done applying my gilding glue, I will set it aside and let it dry for around 30 minutes. So as you can see here, my glue has dried and it is tacky to touch. This is the time when you can apply your gilding flakes. So here I am applying these gilding flakes in the shade Copper Penny. This is from Craft Angles. You can use a stencil brush like this, or you can use a flat end brush to apply your gilding flakes. I am putting these flakes on the glue and lightly pressing it with my fingers. Gilding flakes are actually thin sheets of metal. They are thinner than tissue paper and they are very lightweight and it tears easily. While working with gilding flakes, make sure that you are working in an area where there is very less breeze and the fan in that area is turned off, because these are very lightweight particles, and by the time you realize, you will end up having glitter and shine everywhere in your craft room. So be very careful while working with gilding flakes. Once I am done applying gilding flakes with my fingers, I am now using a flat brush like this, and I am just burnishing the flakes properly into the glue. You can also use a stencil brush here, or you can just finish the job with your fingers as well, but I prefer enhancing this more by using a flat brush. So once I am done, I am tapping off all the excess. You can carefully drop it back into the jar. A jar of gilding flakes would come a long way, because these jars are usually filled up to the brim with these flakes, and a very little amount would make beautiful projects. So as you can see here, first I've transferred my image onto this watercolor sheet, and then I've added gilding flakes onto my monogram. And now, to add more interest to this wall decor piece that I am planning to make, I'm adding a loose watercolor background to this beautiful piece, because I didn't want too much of white space around this. So I'm just adding a very loose watercolor background here. I'm doing the wet on wet technique here. That is, first I have painted my background with clean water, and then I'm adding very dilute wet layer of watercolor all over my background. I'm making sure that it does not take my eyes off my focal image. So I'm just adding a very loose watercolor background all around my centerpiece here. Once I'm done with my background, I'm going to give it enough time to dry. After that, as you can see here, I'm now using a fine liner pen here, and I'm tracing the name Alaknanda here. I enjoy hand lettering and it's one of my various hobbies. However, if you wish to make a similar piece and you are not very confident on hand lettering it, you can always take a print and trace it out. Also, I am doing the faux calligraphy style here. That is, I am mimicking the thin upstrokes and the thick downstrokes by just thickening my lines that I have just lettered now. Here I am using my Faber-Castell Pitt Artist pens. You can use any fine liner pens that have waterproof ink and are archival in nature. When you're putting in so much effort in making a piece of art, it is always advisable to use the best of supplies that you can have. So as you can see here, I have first lettered my name with pencil, and then I have added flourishes to balance my word. I've added flourishes at the bottom, I've added flourishes in the top and the left and right. This adds so much more beauty to the word. So what I have to say is, always take time and plan your project. Plan your word and the placement of the letters in the word. This not just makes your job very easy, but also avoids a high chance of making mistakes at the end of your beautiful project. So as you can see here, first I have done it with pencil, and then I'm taking my fine tip marker here and I'm lining it over the word, and then now I have thickened all the downward strokes to mimic the faux calligraphy style. So here you can see my project is almost done. Can you see how beautiful these gilding flakes are? To add some more focus to my project, I have mounted it over black cardstock. Here I am using charcoal black cardstock from Craft Angles. This not just supports my watercolor paper but also adds more interest to the focal element. And then I am placing this entire piece on a blank white frame onto which I have already placed a pink pattern paper. With this, it finishes my project. So you can see the close-up images of the finished project here. I really liked how beautiful this monogram turned out. My daughter is going to love it and she's going to flaunt it in her room. This little ballerina is so cute and is the perfect gift for every little girl out there, whether you're making one for yourself or making a gift for somebody else. I hope you liked this beautiful project and I was of some inspiration to you. If you make something similar, don't forget to tag us on your social media. We would love to see what you have made. Thank you so much for stopping by. I will be back soon with some more beautiful inspiration. Until then, bye.